Big moves could be coming, and if there's one thing we know about the Chiefs, it's that Brett Veach is always working behind the scenes. Kansas City is fresh off another deep playoff run, but staying on top in the NFL is never easy. Free agency is where championship teams fill the gaps, and the Chiefs still have some areas that need reinforcement. Let's break it down. The defense was elite last season, but with some veterans potentially moving on, depth in the front seven could be a concern. Offensively, Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate equalizer, but wide receiver remains a question mark. Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and Xavier Worthy are a solid group, but injuries and suspensions could leave the Chiefs thin at the position. And of course, the offensive line. Protecting Mahomes is always priority number one. So, where should the Chiefs focus their efforts? Let's make this interactive. What's the biggest need heading into the season? Drop your answer in the comments. 1 wide receiver, 2 pass rusher, 3 offensive line, 4 secondary. Now, let's get to the real reason you're here, the names. Some of these potential signings will shock you, but each one brings something the Chiefs could use in their quest to run it back. And let's start with a familiar face, one that Chiefs Kingdom has dreaded for years. What if Von Miller joined Kansas City? Let's talk about it. Now, this one might catch you off guard. Von Miller, the same guy who tormented the Chiefs for years in Denver, could actually be wearing red and gold next season. Sounds crazy, right? But let's break it down. Miller is a future Hall of Famer. His dominance with the Broncos was undeniable, and he was a key piece in the Rams' Super Bowl run. More recently, he's been with the Buffalo Bills, but he's not the same player he was in his prime. Age and injuries have taken their toll, but does that mean he can't be valuable in the right situation? Here's where things get interesting. The Chiefs already have a strong defensive front, led by Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. They don't need Miller to be the dominant force he once was. They need him to be a veteran presence, a situational pass rusher who can make impact plays in key moments. Think about it. Having Miller fresh for the playoffs, hunting quarterbacks while offenses are already dealing with Jones, Karlaftis, and the rest of Kansas City's defense. That could be a nightmare for opponents. But of course, there are questions. Miller's contract isn't cheap, and the Chiefs have other needs to address. Plus, he's coming off a season where injuries slowed him down. Is he worth the risk? That's where you come in. Chiefs Kingdom, what do you think? Should Kansas City take a chance on Von Miller? Vote in the comments, S for sign, P for pass. While you drop your vote, let's keep this momentum going. If Miller would be a surprising addition, the next name might be even bigger. Could Stefon Diggs be heading to Kansas City? Let's talk about it. All right. Chiefs Kingdom, let's talk about a name that would shake up the NFL. Stefon Diggs in Kansas City. Sounds like a dream, right? But is it actually possible? Diggs has been one of the best wide receivers in football over the past few years. He put up monster numbers with the Bills, racking up multiple 1,000-yard seasons and proving he can dominate against top defenses. Even last season, before injuries slowed him down in Houston, he was still making big plays. But here's the real question. Would he be a good fit in KC? Right now, the Chiefs have some uncertainty at wide receiver. Hollywood Brown is a great addition, but can he stay healthy? Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are exciting young talents, but there are questions about their availability. Adding Diggs to the mix would give Patrick Mahomes another proven weapon, someone who can make contested catches, dominate in the red zone, and step up in the biggest moments. Now there's a catch. Diggs won't come cheap. He's looking for a new deal, and the Chiefs would have to maneuver the salary cap to make it work. Is he worth the investment, or should KC look for a cheaper option? Let's settle this debate right now. If you could choose, who would you rather have in Kansas City next season? Type SD for Stefon Diggs. Type HB for Hollywood Brown. Make your pick in the comments. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started. And speaking of wide receivers, there's another name out there who could make just as much sense for the Chiefs at a much lower price. Let's talk about Tyler Lockett. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, let's pivot to another wide receiver who could be the perfect fit at a fraction of the cost. Tyler Lockett. You might not hear his name tossed around as much as Stefon Diggs, but let me tell you, this guy has all the tools to thrive in Kansas City. Lockett, a K-State alum, has been a key contributor to the Seattle Seahawks for years. He's a reliable and consistent target who's made big plays when it matters most. And the best part? He's not demanding to be the #1 option, which would take a ton of pressure off the likes of Mahomes and other emerging talents like Rashee Rice. What makes him such an intriguing choice? Well, he's got a connection to Kansas City, and you know the Chiefs love a good hometown story. His dad played for the team, and Lockett grew up just down the road in Tulsa. Coming back to Kansas City could be a special full-circle moment for him. Plus, his production has dipped a bit over the years, but he's still an effective weapon. Lockett could be the veteran presence the Chiefs need in their wide receiver room, offering both reliability and leadership without breaking the bank. As for cost, Tyler Lockett would be much cheaper than Diggs, and the Chiefs could get a reliable contributor for less than half the price. He doesn't need to be the star receiver. He's a solid #2 or 3 option, which is exactly what KC needs to balance out their offense. Now let me ask you this, who's the better WR fit for the Chiefs? Diggs or Lockett? Type SD for Diggs. Type TL for Tyler Lockett. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't go anywhere. After a quick look at the safety position, we'll wrap this up with some final thoughts on the Chiefs' free agency moves. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, we've covered some big names today, but let's wrap things up by taking a quick look at a couple of final free agents that could fill some important roles for the Chiefs: Marcus Williams and Brandon Scherff. Starting with Marcus Williams, the former New Orleans Saints and Baltimore Ravens safety. He's been a steady force in the secondary throughout his career. Now, he may not be the full-time starter anymore, but imagine him in a depth role with Kansas City. Spagnuolo loves his 3 safety looks, and Williams could slot in nicely, offering versatility and experience when needed. In 2022, he even grabbed 4 interceptions in a single season, proving he still has it. If you ask me, this would be a sneaky, low-risk move for the Chiefs to shore up their defense. Then there's Brandon Scherff, the former Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman. He's a well-established Pro Bowl guard who's been solid throughout his career. With some question marks around the Chiefs' offensive line depth, Scherff could be a stabilizing force. He may not be a long-term solution, but he'd bring valuable experience and could slide into a guard role with ease. At a reasonable price, Scherff could provide the Chiefs with the depth they need along the line. Now let's finish with some fan engagement. Which of these moves would you make? Drop your top pick in the comments, whether it's Williams, Scherff, or any other name we've mentioned today. And before we call it a day, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for daily Chiefs content right here at Total Chiefs News. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next video!